Oh, we're live.
We're live. Sorry, I was clicking my mute button. We are just full of it tonight. Happy Victory Monday, Broncos country.
Let's go.
This is the Let's Talk Broncos podcast. I'm Bri Maestas here with Zach Seegers and Joey Richards. We're off a fantastic win. And by fantastic, I mean fantastically. Oh my God, what happened on Sunday? I'm so excited to talk about this game. I think there was a couple questions of whether or not we would make it, but we are here tonight. Cal said, I'm making pasta.
What's Creek pasta, by the way?
I don't know,
he didn't
pasta
say
for
I'm
Creek.
making pasta because I'm making pasta is like a normal human sentence. I'm making Creek pasta for the Creek. I can't stay. Russ sucks, but D and Court are awesome. K, bye. That's unintelligible. But Cal, appreciate you. Thank you for the support.
I love it, Cal. Thank you for chiming in. Ty is also here. Ty Walden says, I'm thinking they're late because Joey had too many birthday shots. Well, that's not far off. That is not actually why we were late tonight. Joey,
Funny you mention it.
happy birthday to, can we sing the happy birthday song without getting dinged?
That's
Happy
for
birthday to you.
Oh, God.
No, this
I
I
can't
can't
do
do
it.
that.
Let's
I
ride.
can't say it. I'm off. Let's ride.
This is more cringe than Let's Ride.
Yeah, that was a
Delay.
million times. That was rough. Get out.
I
of
have
there.
a beautiful voice. I don't know. what
You
you're
do.
talking about.
We had to get out of there fast.
We had to get out. I don't want to get a copyright strike. Delay of podcast, 30-yard penalty ties the referee for tonight. If you have any questions, you can send it over to him. And while
We
you're-
had a guy running the show for us the last 2 weeks, got our time management problem solved, and then Hackett hired him away.
J.R. Rosberg. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. As you can see, we are live. We are live from the Mile High Sports Studios. If you want to get your questions and comments highlighted, all you got to do is pop on over to the YouTube stream or the Facebook stream and get to typing. It's
go.
that easy. And if Cal's not in the chat, someone's going to have to make up for it. So if you're watching at home, you're over on Twitter, I need you to hop over there, send your
Pick the
questions.
emoji of the day. Pick the bug.
Somebody pick an emoji of the day. All right. Yay, birthday twins. Gregory, happy birthday to you, Mr. Pierce. Very
Gregory,
cool.
happy birthday, man.
Thanks for joining the show. Happy birthday. Go Broncos.
Thanks for watching. I love the way that you said that. It just flowed so naturally. You know what else flowed naturally?
I'm a natural talent.
You know, you're just so good. A prodigy, if you will. I don't know. Just really, really good at this. Fantastic. All right.
You know what, Bri?
What?
You're really good at this.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That was very nice of you.
Wait, let's stop the show really quick.
Did Ryan yell at you again? Is that why you're being nice to me? I don't know what this
He
is,
did.
but we're gonna put it up there as they're little caterpillars.
Worms.
Worms.
See how much pull Ty holds.
Ty is a big fan of the Caterpillars. Ty
The
is a member of the
Caterpillars.
Caterpillar Legion. Let's
Okay.
go.
The
All right.
Caterpillar Legion. All right, let's jump into it because we're here to talk Broncos. Guys, what a game on Sunday. I think what we can take away is the defense was absolutely astounding. And
It
by
was.
astounding, I mean dominant. I mean, every good verb or adjective you could throw at them, you would have to do it for this defense. It's one of the most talented defensive rosters that I think I've ever seen. And we're missing the star captain of the team in Justin Simmons.
Yeah.
So when he returns, what does that spell for the defense? I think what they did is they stepped up in his absence. They made their voices heard, and it was lights out. It was absolutely incredible. You had 4 sacks, 2 turnovers, an interception. You could literally go line by line down the roster and point out all the fantastic things
It was
that
crazy.
this team did. And they did it despite the lethargic play by the Denver Broncos offense. I think that says something. A win is a win. 11 to 10, 11 points is still more than 10. And I think that counts as something. So I'm
It does.
excited. I'm bought back in. Last week, I was lethargic. I think
Yeah.
I was going through it. I was in a little bit of a coma. I wasn't happy. I'm back, baby. And I've been shouting from the rooftops the talent on this Denver Broncos roster. And I'm in. I am here to tell you it doesn't matter about anything else. Because when you have those guys out there, how many points do you have to score? Just more than the other team.
I'm saying that's at the end of the day, that's what they did. They scored more points than the other team. And you have to give credit to the defense. To your point, Barry, you said it. The defense was astounding. The Broncos offense, sure, it didn't go the way they wanted, but the defense held the Kyle Shanahan led San Francisco 49ers to 10 points, 1 of 10 on third down conversions, right? Crazy stat. For most of that game, I remember they were 0 for 9. Like that's how it was for a little bit. That they really held them. And to your point, Bri, you could go down the list of names. I'm not going to do it, but go down the list of names, and it's hard, really hard to pick a defensive player that didn't perform well yesterday. So huge shout out to that defense. Massive shout out to Ejiro Evero. My podcast partners here were happy enough to point out to me that I predicted that the Broncos defense would take a step down
Evero
after
is just doing things Vic Fangio never could.
So now we're stretching it, but that's kind of the
Defense.
brand here.
That's a Vic
Let's talk
Fangio
Broncos.
defense. That's a Vic Fangio defense. Ding. All right, now it's just mathematically possible. I was desperate there. I hadn't gotten you on a single one, and I'm like, Ebro could have the best defense in the league, and I might not win this bet right now. I got to at least give myself some margin.
No, but shout out to Evero, man. I mean, you have to worry now. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself because it is week 3. I want to see them play the Chiefs, the Chargers, some of these AFC West teams that I know have really explosive offenses, but
the 49ers offense is a challenge.
It is.
That is it. Like, as far as game plan in the week, it reminds me of like when you see a team play, I guess not current Georgia Tech, but like old Georgia Tech or like Navy or Army or like one of those service academy schools where it's like, oh, this is going to be a pain in the ass week of game planning, where it's just like, it's a hard team to prepare for because everything is so multiple and so varied, and you've got so many weapons and each of them can do so many different things. And man, to lock them down like they did on as many defensive possessions as they did is outstanding.
Yeah, like I was saying, like at what point do you get worried? Like how many weeks into the season, if the Broncos continue on this run of just awesome defense, are you starting to worry about the Broncos having to lose him? Like that's how good Evero has been. He's been phenomenal for the Broncos. Big shout out to him. I mean, I could go down the list, like Bri said, but I'm not going to. The Broncos defense was awesome.
So hard not to.
I know.
Frankie says the 5-man fronts we see Evero running on 3rd and medium longs makes me so happy.
Yeah,
Frankie, us too.
Love that he took that from the Rams. I think it's really smart. It isolates your pass rushers, and I think it's part of the reason why you see the Broncos pass rush doing well. They have 3 guys right now in the top 19 in the entire NFL in pass rush win rate.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah, you have to give shout out to those players too. I mean, for how much I was saying before the season that this Broncos edge room had a massive ceiling and a very low floor. Call back to we talk. It's weird. Ever since we got in that argument, awesome. And ever since we got in that argument, I feel like we just keep saying floor and ceiling. Anyways,
it's a great callback.
Yeah, but we're seeing that massive ceiling right now of what happens when Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory are both healthy on the Broncos with Baron Browning spelling. It's just been awesome to see those guys are balling out. They are balling out. It looks like the Broncos, if you could stay healthy, have one of the better edge rooms in the league, like pound for pound. Like both those guys are going crazy out there whooping tackles. You got to love it. And for such an important position, to have 2 of them go out there and play like they have during these first 3 games, you can't ask for much more. You really can't. Helps out the secondary, helps out everything. Like it speeds up that quarterback's clock. Even those hits, those pressures afterwards are forcing worse throws. You got to be so hyped about that Broncos front 5, really, especially if I'm including Purcell from last night. But yeah, go ahead, Zach.
No, they're playing remarkable football, every single one of them. Yeah, Baron Browning. I think if you wanted to split hairs, and I think this is maybe also a argument for more optimism, Nick Bonito not being a factor at all, and he's a guy you invested a 2nd-round pick in. We know he's a talented pass rusher too. If you start getting him rolling, start getting him to be a factor in this rotation, it's possible there's an even higher ceiling for this pass rush to unlock, and that's really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Friend of the program, Frankie Abbott chimes in again yesterday to shut down the run. He's running 5-man base front of Draymond, Jay, Harris, Purcell, DJ, and Bradley.
One of these things is not like the other. One of these things is different.
Oh, no. Frankie also adds, just gorgeous, man. Samuel Castro hopped in. He's back with us. Sorry, had to get a beer. I'm ready to listen. Cheers to you, my friend.
Samuel.
Appreciate you jumping in. If you didn't hear it first, it is Joey's birthday. So
thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining along, sharing a drink with us as we celebrate. One of the best co-hosts in the game. The other one sitting next to me. These guys are fantastic. Happy to be here talking Broncos with both of them. That's enough of that. Let's move on to you know what?
Bri met her quota.
That is as nice as I can get right now. I'm sorry, guys.
You're good.
You know, I'm excited. This is how much of a fantastic mood I am after a win. And I keep saying it like that because I didn't think a game could get uglier than perhaps maybe the Texans game was, but I was wrong and I was mistaken for even hinting at that because this one was crazy messy. The defense was absolutely incredible and they saved the day. I had tweeted out something about the defense cannot continue to carry the game. And they did just that. They absolutely told me bet. And that is exactly what they did. It shouldn't have to be that way, though. All right. It shouldn't have to be that the defense is what's going to carry this team. And it's not going to float against some of these better offenses. Thankfully, San Francisco was not that great. Jimmy G, we took it to them. But now we're kind of stuck in this where do we go from here? Can it carry them further? Obviously, you have the Raiders coming up on Sunday. But I think we failed to mention a couple of the really, were you guys talking about? I can see you right here.
I was telling Zach to retweet the podcast.
I thought you were going for something. I finally pieced it together before you said it, but I thought you were going for something else.
That is fantastic. Samuel says, cheers, happy birthday. How do you feel about putting Chubb in pass coverage? Joey, you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to do it. Like, I get it. It's not his forte. It's not his forte, right? Like, Bradley Chubb, you want rushing the passer, but at the end of the day, the Broncos are running a 3-4 defense. If you're in base, you're going to have to drop in coverage every once in a while. You can't just not do it. It's part of the defense. People are going to complain about it. They complain about it with Vic Fangio, but I think it's a lot of people just not understanding how this really works.
How it's working. Kind of to that point, Ejiro Evero's not going, hey, you know what's a great play design? Let's have Bradley Chubb cover Kyle Juszczyk on a wheel. Hey, you know what's a great play design? Let's have Josie Jewell one-on-one in coverage in space against Deebo Samuel. That's not the design of the play. Guess what? Kyle Shanahan's good at this too. Yeah. And he's good at drawing up plays that at times are going to put your defense in really bad spots you don't want to be in. This isn't his first time seeing defense off the Fangio tree. He knows some of the rules there. He knows how to manipulate it. Same reason that Von Miller was isolated in coverage last season or 2 seasons ago, whatever it was, against Chase Claypool. That was not drawn up by Vic Fangio. He wasn't like, ooh, I know on 3rd and 3, I'm going to have Von Miller cover Chase Claypool. No, they got leveraged and manipulated into that. And it was a good job by the opposing offensive staff to do that.
Can I
continue.
I just want to say Kyle Juszczyk also is actually like the craziest Swiss Army knife at fullback.
Kind of got away with a push off.
He does, but the guy can run the ball pretty effectively. He can catch the ball really well. He's like a different breed.
Back.
Yeah, he's like
their third down back.
He's like a different breed of fullback. There's like not many out there like Kyle Juszczyk. He's weird, like a weird.
It was a funky play in general.
It was like, and the fact that the 49ers have a fullback that's kind of like a mismatch out there in pass plays is like a crazy thing. Great catch by him too, man. Like get both feet in on the sidelines like that. I didn't think Bradley had bad coverage on that play. If it wasn't for a safety where the quarterback Garoppolo ran outside the end zone, he also would have had a pick 6. So like I agree, like you don't want Bradley Chubb in coverage. It's part of the defense. We have to kind of deal with it. And but this wasn't really the game to complain about it, I don't think.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's a fantastic point. Wanted to see what Frankie was saying here. The 49ers defense looks so insanely good. After rewatching, it's hard to be too upset with the inability to generate a ton of yards. I think you also have to say, if you're 1 for 1 in the red zone, that's 100%. That's nothing to scoff at.
And Chris Kaceric's that dude. Like you saw those crazy defensive line, alignment splits he was working with. Like that stuff is tough to game plan for. And they have a lot of talent. They're so good at coaching those guys up on the defensive line. I do think it raised some concerns about the offensive line. The film dropped like just 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live. So haven't had the chance to review it. But what I do think is worth noting is Russell Wilson was 15th in week 3 in time to throw out of 30 qualified passers. Monday Night Football hasn't happened yet, of course. So that's right in the middle of the league, like dead center. He's totally average. It's not like he was, and there were certainly plays where he was holding the ball a long time. I'm not trying to say like he never held the ball too long, but generally speaking, that wasn't the reason he was under crazy pressure. He was holding the ball an average amount of time. The offensive line was just getting worked. And that's going to happen against a tough matchup like the 49ers, especially when you're down to, I think, fairly key pieces. Quinn Miners, who I think we both believe, maybe all three of us believe, is the best member of that offensive line.
Yeah.
And then you're down Billy Turner, and then Garrett Bowles got put in a clown suit, man. That was a rough show.
Okay, so I kind of blame some of those Garrett Bowles issues on Russell Wilson. I won't lie to you.
I think some of them are on Russ too. I want to be clear, I'm not absolving Wilson.
Russell was really holding the ball that game. Now, a lot of that has to do with the coverage on the back end, but that's kind of a byproduct of it. I didn't see Garrett Bowles just get whooped up on I think some are acting. I think that a lot of it is on the quarterback there. I really do.
I think some of it is. I don't think all of it is.
No,
definitely not all of it.
Average time to throw.
Okay, but are we doing that on the Garrett Bowles sacks? Are we isolating that?
That's the thing. I haven't had the chance to go through the film and isolate all the pressures.
Right.
But I mean, we're saying that to balance it out, he would have had to have a lot of very quick bailed out checkdowns, and I don't think I saw enough of those personally to bounce.
I thought on the plays that Garrett Bowles really looked like I knew people were going to get upset at him. I thought that on those plays, and now maybe we do have to go through and isolate
because there's 9 QB hits there. I don't think all of those are Russell Wilson holding the ball too long.
I thought a lot of them were. Russell Wilson, since he's been in the league, it comes with the byproduct of the athleticism and the magician in the pocket thing. He's going to and I agree with you in this game in particular, it was 15th in the league, but I did see, I couldn't blame him on some. I could
100%
for sure. And I'm not willing to put all of it on, but it is at the end of the day, like a quarterback's stat a lot of the time, sacks. And I don't know. Yeah, that was the way I thought. I thought the interior offensive line, to Frankie's point here, Bri, I guess Javon Kinlaw, he was kind of all over the place. I thought the interior offensive line had a really, really rough day.
Yeah, I think that's true. I wanted to say, Frankie also said Russ wasn't feeling pressure from Bowles' side well at all.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, and PFF, not the most reliable website.
They graded Surtain in the 70s.
But these aren't grades.
I know.
Grades are different. Grades are very subjective. These are not grades. The grades are a different thing. I never will cite PFF's grades on this because this is very different. Russell Wilson pressured 15 times. Responsible for 2 of those pressures by PFF's charting.
Ooh, I don't know.
And
I would
1 sack.
I don't know about that.
That might be generous, but the point being, if he was pressured 15 times now, I agree, inflate it some, but you have to be inflating it by a ton for him to be responsible for more than half of them.
We'll see. I'll have to go back and look at.
I do too, but I'm just saying. I think
we'll
plenty of that
this
was on the line
podcast.
too.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back.
We'll have lots to talk about all week after a fantastic win over the San Francisco 49ers. We're coming up on Raider Week, first division rival game for the Denver Broncos. The Raiders are raidering right now. They're 0-3. I think they're a little bit hungry. I told Zach earlier today on the Fan Cave Radio Mile High Sports that I have a little bit of a neon sign flashing in the back of my head of how cornered and rabid the Las Vegas Raiders might potentially be. Is the defense enough and is the offense enough to outscore them? The Raiders were the leading AFC West team of the weekend with 22 total points. That's saying something. The Chargers with 10, the Broncos with 11, and Kansas City, I can't remember what, 16-ish? Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's a little bit of cause for concern heading into that game, but there always is when it's a rivalry that deep between the Broncos and the Raiders. But what we can say is that it's moving at least in a generally positive direction.
Right.
Less penalties.
Totally.
Fewer penalties leads to more yards. More yards leads into the red zone, and more red zone completions wind up with points. And I know it's a very obviously dummied down version of how football works, but it works.
It's true though. Yeah.
It happened.
If you get the red zone stuff, and we only saw a sample size of 1 in this last game, but if you get that red zone stuff or that goal line stuff, and that, which again, sample size of 1, I'm aware of how ridiculous this is.
101.
I'm aware of how ridiculous
Right.
this is. But if you get that red zone stuff with the offense's movement of the first 2 games, You got a pretty fun team. You got a pretty fun team.
Yeah. If they're shooting 100% at the red zone,
but not even 100. If they're shooting 50%, like we
Yeah.
were talking about it because of the Broncos Country Tonight prop they put out. But like, if they
You're
get
welcome
50%,
for the free promotion.
yeah, you're welcome. But if you get like average, which is like 4.7 points in the red zone, like that would be 9 more points per game in those first 2 games.
Yeah.
So I just, I think the improvement there is absolutely huge, and there's a lot of room for improvement. And in the same way, the Broncos are winning games ugly. Like it feels like they're kind of winning games they shouldn't win. The Raiders are losing games they shouldn't lose, and while that I think rightfully makes Broncos fans cautious because this isn't your standard 3-0 team. This is or your standard 0-3 team. This isn't your standard 2-1 team. Like there's a reason the Broncos are kind of finding a way to win these games in the end. And there's something to the Raiders finding a way to lose these games in the end. And so
we call that raidering.
Raidering for real. And then the Chargers are charging hard right now. I feel bad for them.
I don't. I want to give shouts out to Kyle and Elsa and
Quit that.
McKenna. I know Kyle's watching. He chimed in here. Let's end McDaniels on Sunday. Sir, I cannot agree anymore with you. Even though I think that, there was a potential for McDaniels to turn that organization around. It's just not happening right now. Doesn't mean it's out. Doesn't mean a team can't get better, but they're doing some fun stuff right now. Again, I'm not discounting this upcoming game. I can't get too far ahead of myself, but I think the cart's already in front of the horse here, so I'll go ahead and throw it out there. Want to say Frankie also said, I need a Calvin receiving touchdown. Neat.
Yeah,
I see where he got that from. More Calvin tackle eligible.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like it. I'm a fan. Samuel Castro says, I think the coaches need to let Russ move around to extend plays. I think we were all looking for a little bit of more mobility out of Russell Wilson for this offense. I think he's been a little hesitant, and I'm not sure exactly what's the reasoning for that. But if you want your QB to be mobile, you also have to understand the potential for injury there. If he's taking the sacks in that backfield, I think that is one concern there. But the more he steps out of that pocket, less protection means more chances for injuring an aging QB. Yep. He made me a little nervous there with some of the runs that he made, but damn, did it not pay off. So I am a split bag of emotion there. Joey, talk to me a little bit about the mobility of Russell Wilson.
Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. Hackett challenged this play. Did you guys think that scramble from Russell Wilson where he reached the ball over was a first down?
It was so close. I don't think anybody actually knows for certain whether or not that was a first down.
It did not look. I think the first challenge was closer in stadium.
Really?
They showed that jumbotron angle, and I think it looked like he was short on that jumbotron.
Got it. Okay, I thought he got it. Also, shout out to Kyle for bringing me to that game. Man.
The TV broadcast.
I love
shout out Kyle.
Your seats are amazing. I was like watching the all 22 guys. Like seriously.
Yeah. Shout out to Betfred Sports, Kyle and Elsa for taking you to the game. Everyone.
Shout out to you for the tickets to the Betfred. I was hooked up, and shout out to everyone involved. Like I really appreciate.
You had a good weekend.
Oh, it was amazing, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just giving shouts out.
Betfred.
Yeah, Fred, if you're watching. Big fan. Wanted to shout out
Mr. Fred Sports. Thank you.
I did want to shout out everybody who is watching. Kyle also says happy birthday. That is fantastic. Joey's birthday today. If you're not already aware, make sure you drop those happy B-days in the chat for Joey tonight. If you're watching over on Twitter and you want to interact with the show, I don't know what you're doing. You got to hop on over to YouTube, hop on over to Facebook, get your questions and comments highlighted. Join the fun over here because we're having an awesome time because it's Victory Monday and that's what we fucking do.
Let's go.
I didn't think I needed to swear there. It just felt right. Sorry if there's any kids watching.
I was supposed to produce a bit and I totally forgot to produce the bit. Well, we'll see if I can throw it together. If not,
okay, fantastic. I love where this is going. Guys, it's a free-for-all right now.
It is.
What else tickled you about the game on Sunday?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Should I go into like an individual performance? Is that okay?
Pick your favorite person that you want to talk about. Ty's giving you a bunch of birthday cupcakes.
Thanks,
Ty. Thank you for interacting with the chat. Birthday cupcakes for Joey. Yes, I just pointed that out. I just didn't realize you commented it.
I want to. So the offense really that game, that Sunday night game. The offense really ran through Courtland Sutton and all he could do. If you look at the stats, he's like top 5 in receiving yards right now through 3 games. He's been the most reliable option on that offense from week 1 to now week 3. Big shout out to him. He looks like the guy that we want him to be. There was a lot of stuff. I liked the Russ in the interviews where the press conference, he was talking about how he checked out of that play and made it that back shoulder
The
little
child
play
just
out the
said hi to us. I had
sidelines.
to wave. I
Yeah,
just
there was
wanna
a child who
explain
is
that.
it's hard to explain. She's very adorable. Joey, continue on with your Cortland Sutton.
That's what was
gush.
throwing us off. I had to address.
No, I just wanted to say Cortland Sutton's been awesome. He's been the bright spot of that Broncos offense when the Broncos couldn't run the ball against like 49ers defense that I don't think enough people are giving credit to. I was just talking to Cody about that out there, but that 49ers defense might be, one of the better defenses in the entire NFL when it's all said and done. And they really could. And I don't think enough people are giving credit to that. And Cortland Sutton just went out there and balled out. He was consistent. He's been consistent. And you gotta show praise there in an offense that hasn't been that great so far.
Yeah, absolutely. The chat's chiming off here. I just want
A
to point it
special
out real
player.
quick. Corliss Waitman, Frankie is a fan, punts. You get a chance and an opportunity to punt 10 times, and you do so consistently when your consistency has been thrown into question. That's impressive, and I was celebrating every single one of them. There was one that was an absolute beauty.
Yeah.
When lined up in if we're talking about standard field positions like the 25, at the touchback after a kickoff, anytime the Broncos were ahead of standard field position, gained anything, the offense did anything to hook him up in terms of field position, he was pinning the opponents back inside their 25, 100% of the time. That's fantastic. And then, if you're, again, removing those two punts pinned back where he was pinned back against his own end zone, he has a 5 out of 8 inside their own 15 or the opponent's 15. So terrific there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a Corliss Waitman punt that put the 49ers back that led to a Broncos safety, correct?
Maybe. Let me check.
Someone check on that. But
I have it right here.
The Broncos,
find me a second.
something that's lost in this is the Broncos completely own field position, which is a huge part of football that not a lot of people talk about. Now, the
Especially
Broncos,
when your defense is spending so much time on
it was
the-
off a punt that
Exactly.
was down at the 49ers 2-yard line.
exactly.
And he could have had, here's the crazy thing. He had one at the 3, he had one at the 2, and he probably should have had that one at the 1-inch line off the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. It's so the Broncos were pinned back on like their one on one of the plays, but the Broncos ended up digging themselves out of that area right there, one of the lone bright spots of the offense. But yeah, the Broncos, when you own field position like that, it makes it a lot easier, especially when your defense is playing like they did, limits an offense. 49ers were forced to punt out of their own end zone a few times. Like those are all big things. You want to own field position like that, especially in a close game. Who knows what could have happened if they didn't, right? Like if the 49ers were set in better field position more consistently, who knows? They could have more points for sure.
That's
I
right.
I
You're
just
okay.
wanted to circle back to the Cortland Sutton point before it totally goes away.
Sorry.
Because, man, he's been so awesome. And I'm so happy about it. In 2019, I was like, maybe the Broncos have a guy breaking out as a top 10, 20 receiver in the league. And that's so hard to do if you really start listing out how many elite receivers there are in the NFL right now. And I think he's really solidifying that spot. He is carrying the offense right now. He just seems like such a reliable weapon and able to, pick up big chunks of yardage with ease. I absolutely love seeing him fully healthy again and able to realize the talent we saw him flash so early on in his career.
Love it. Kyle also wanted to give shouts to Mike Purcell, and also the Edge guys were unstoppable.
Totally.
Joey, you tweeted out today only because we were talking about it. Not enough people are talking about the good things Mike Purcell did this last game.
No,
They've been too
weren't.
enthralled with maybe possibly what wasn't going too great in the first two. Talk to me a little bit about what you saw out of Mike Purcell and why, and then we'll go over to the Edge because we can't not talk about that.
Sometimes players get like a narrative spun on them that they're not very good, and then when they play good, we don't give them their due props when they do. And Mike Purcell against a 49ers run offense that is one of the best in the NFL. We all know the Kyle Shanahan offense. I mean, Broncos fans know, right? We had Mike Shanahan down here. Our run offense was always fantastic. Kyle Shanahan with the San Francisco 49ers is the exact same thing. They just plug away in the run. Creativity, a lot of cool stuff going over there. The Broncos needed Mike Purcell to play good in that game. And that's exactly what he did. He was really, really good. He was a guy that forced that safety on that play, hurrying up the pass. And if it wasn't a safety, it was going to be a Bradley Chubb pick six. Also, you give credit to, even if that were the case, you would give credit to Purcell for forcing the pressure there. Purcell was awesome. I want people to give him his props for that one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look at my co-hosts here. I got nothing to add. He put it beautifully. I will say it's huge for Broncos country to be seeing this out of Mike Purcell because
Yeah.
DJ Jones is in concussion protocol.
Right.
Maybe you get him back Sunday, but I think that's an optimistic outlook. If I'm a Broncos fan, I think you're probably missing him Sunday. You might even miss him Thursday night when you're going up against
Ooh,
Jonathan
that would
Taylor.
hurt.
You hope you don't, but there's a decent chance of it. So big tests for Mike Purcell coming up. He'll be one to watch.
Yep.
All right, record scratch. We got to talk about that edge group. We
Yeah.
talked about how impressive they were. And, we had a little bit of scare with Baron Browning, feeling a little bit off step after getting knocked around. Came back in. He's back in the game. I thought he'd get a sack, but you know what? It was Randy Gregory again, just absolutely dominating out there. Bradley Chubb is nothing to shake a stick at. Talk to me about the edge group. What are you seeing from Sunday?
I love this Broncos edge group. The amount of potential that it has if everyone stays on the field and is healthy.
Could you imagine?
We're seeing it right
now.
now.
The stuff of dreams.
I've said this a million times on this podcast, but I'm going to continue to repeat it because it's just that important. But if you can get home with your front four, you don't have to bring extra people consistently. You can generate pressure with that front four. It's a massive benefit to your defense. And the Broncos are able to do that right now. That edge group, to Kyle's point, has been unstoppable. Randy Gregory and Bradley Chubb are just going crazy right now. Randy Gregory has 15 pressures on the season so far. That's a massive number. I mean, 5 a game, right? That's pretty much what that averages out to. That's crazy. He's going, you got to give massive props to them. Baron Browning coming off the edge is awesome too.
And Randy Gregory, just in this game, 6 pressures on 21 pass rushing opportunities. It's crazy.
Yeah.
They have his pass rush win rate, which is different than pressure rate. Pass rush win rate at 35%.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dominating.
Yep. He's a really good player.
To think there were people doubting.
Oh, to think.
I think we got to talk about. I think we're going to talk about that tomorrow. We got to jump more in depth about the haters out there in Broncos country. Joey's going to lead the charge. Joey is now taking the helm.
Up his sleeves.
Of the Randy Gregory, not even fan club. This is the brute strength. Get on a tank and run them all over, because that's exactly what they're doing out there for the defense and the Denver Broncos. Ty has a question. Let's talk a little bit about special teams. Screw it. Did special teams do enough to convince you that they could be a good unit this year? That's an interesting question. Better than McMahon. Yeah. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to state it point blank. Zach, talk to me. What'd you see?
They were awesome. Like, I don't know if they'll do it consistently, but you look at Montrell Washington, what he's done as a returner so far. It's pretty solid. I'll pull up some numbers on that in a second once one of you two start talking here in a second. But you're also seeing the punt coverage and kick coverage look great.
I'll just sit here and wait for my
I think we're
data.
just going to sit here and quiet while Zach. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding. How worried should we be about the kicker?
I'm not worried about just McManus. McManus is like Kirk Cousins kicker. Like he's fine. He'll get the job done. He's do what you
good
need
when
to do.
no one's watching.
But is he like elite?
Everybody at Let's Talk Broncos
is he
feels this
great
way.
in the clutch mode? Okay, tell me what you disagree with specifically, Bri.
Because he's been a long-standing member of this Denver Broncos team, special teams.
And, no, you're right. He is really clutch.
Like. Missed field goals happen all of the time. So far, it's just been a little bit of bad luck. I don't even know how that last one missed, because to me and my angle's not that far off from yours, is it didn't look like it was a bad kick.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the last minute it had a little bit of a turn. He's had a little bit of an off time, and I do not think it's time to just say that McManus is not the kicker of the Denver Broncos. I don't like your tone.
He's mediocre. Kirk Cousins, you don't need it. We're not talking about quarterback. You don't need Patrick Mahomes of kickers to win a Super. You don't need Justin Tucker to win Super Bowls. You don't want to have a bottom level kicker. You just need a mediocre guy. Brandon McManus is a mediocre kicker.
Let me tell you something. When punters, fullbacks, or kickers are brought up, the hot takes fly from Zach Seegers.
What's the hot take? Where's the hot take? Oh, you think calling Brandon McManus a mediocre kicker is a hot take?
No, I think the Kirk Cousins reference is crazy.
You think that's crazy?
Well, it's not the reference that's crazy. It's the fact that popped in your mind. It's crazy.
Yeah, my brain's weird. But I think it's a totally apt comparison.
I'm just reminding everyone who's watching at home, not all the expressed
You
opinions
disagree?
of the Let's Talk Broncos crew are shared between all
Say
three
it.
members.
Say it. Say
I
it.
disagree with your take.
You think
that
he's an elite
McManus is
kicker?
Yes, and he's been an elite kicker for a
Crazy.
very long time.
Crazy.
He has not fallen off from Super Bowl
Crazy.
50. He has been one of the most consistent players on the Denver Broncos roster, and to say anything differently is absurd.
Okay. All right. We have a little disagreement. We'll follow
Frankie
this.
says screen captured and DM to McManus, and we know he's going to check those DMs. So could you please put in a good word for me and Joey? I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. Do you think we have a legitimate? Oh no, I not more punter and kicker talk.
Punter kicker talk.
I don't know. I need to see. I need to see him string some games together. But what happened there last week was pretty impressive. I liked it.
I did. I was enjoying it. I
Yeah.
tweeted about how excited I was about one of those punts. It actually fueled not only my hopefulness, but like my happiness to be a Denver Broncos fan. And I'm
Right.
sticking with it. It was
There you
exciting. I had my doubts. I was sad to see Sam Martin go. I'm happy to see
Where-
Corliss Waitman, and I'm still waiting for Zach to bring me some damn data.
In the if we were to rank the most accurate kickers since Super Bowl
that's
50,
Oh no,
Super
he's
Bowl
on
50.
a kicker trend.
since Super Bowl 50, because he hasn't dropped off since Super Bowl 50. If we were to rank the most accurate kickers since then, where do you think he ranked? Top 25 most accurate kickers. Where do you think McManus ranks?
Top 10.
Joey?
Dude.
He's not in the top 25. He's not in the top 25. That's the answer.
Stop. Most accurate kicker since 2016.
His rate's worse.
Robbie Gould. All right.
He's making under 84.6%. And again, I think he's a fine kicker. I wasn't trying to.
Kirk Cousins. I'm out of here.
Kirk Cousins is like the 13th best quarterback in the
Kyle says 12. We're
NFL.
going
He's
Kyle.
like the 13th best kicker, 12th best kicker. That's fine. That's all you need at the kicker pit. He's a good kicker. He's a good
Let me
kicker.
tell you.
Everyone settle down. But so yeah, you don't need to worry about him. He's fine. He's good enough. What you don't want is to have a problem kicker. That could happen if you move off McManus. McManus is worth the money you give him. Just don't listen to him when he wants to kick a 60-yarder.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to cradle my microphone when I get to this next point. Broncos country, if what we have to complain about is the kickers and the punters, I think we're doing something well. Not offensively, though. I'm just going to put that out there. It was a little bit of a slog.
Come to here. I cover all the positions. Fullbacks.
No, it's just.
Can you talk to
Gunners.
me about how you feel about Miles, the mascot?
Yeah.
I like him. I don't like.
Where do you rank him
I
in
don't
Colorado?
like Junior Miles or Baby Miles or whatever. The eyes on that one bother me a little. If we do want to be real, I like Thunder. I think that's a good mascot.
What about
I like the
Bucky?
Skydivers. The Skydivers are fantastic. The Rocky Mountain Thunder, Joe, goddamn it. The Rocky Mountain Thunder are stupid. Why do you have a marching band?
Yeah. You
Wait,
know.
okay, what I gotten into you.
You asked for my
feel
take.
like
I'm
you
giving you.
work for
I'm
the
giving
other
you what
company,
you want to.
and by the other company,
The other company, because I said having a marching band's a little silly. This is strong.
a marching band is synonymous with football. You ever seen a college football game?
Yeah, that's why they're in college. They're not in name
How
a
do you feel
name a
about the
pro marching band.
paratroopers?
Name a pro marching band.
How do you feel about the?
I love the
paratroopers? Oh,
paratroopers.
thank
They're the
God.
coolest.
I thought
They're
I was
the
gonna have to
best.
kick you off.
No, the
podcast.
paratroopers are fantastic. I've got good taste.
I don't know why he hates marching bands. I'm not sure who this. It's probably because CU's. I don't know. There's a correlation.
They didn't let
there.
him in the marching band. It's this crazy backstory.
Oh,
But anyways,
shit. Is that why he carries around the empty trombone case in his back of his car?
it's trauma. Don't bring it up.
Oh,
Anyway, we don't want it to trigger anything. Just-
the last few weeks of talk has been about offense. Got to reach a little.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
no,
can't believe
agree.
we had fans asking questions about punters and kickers, and y'all are going, "Oh, Zach's giving Doug Putter kicker an odds." We had questions about
Well,
it.
okay, but it's like here's the main issue. Whenever the kickers, punters, or fullbacks get brought up on the podcast, fine, we'll give her a little answer, whatever. Zach comes on here fired up. He comes on here with these McManus is the Kirk
entertainment.
Cousins of kickers. Andrew Beck's not that guy. He's
we're
in the
in the
bars.
entertainment industry.
Wadman needs to pick it up. It's
Wadman was terrible. But Waitman's great.
It's
Right,
hilarious.
We're in the
Frank.
entertainment business, Jay.
I am highly entertained. Frank says, "Do you hate joy and children's laughter?" I hate children's laughter.
I don't hate marching
that we're
bands. I'm just
talking
like, get
about
over it in the NFL. What NFL team has a marching band?
Oh my goodness, I love laughing and joking around with you all. I think that'll. Does anyone else have any questions for us in the chat? Otherwise,
Man, have you seen the Falcons marching band? They're great.
Do the Falcons? I bet you the Falcons have a marching band, and I
But no
probably
one
think
would
they're
know, and
legit.
that's my point. That's my point. Like Ohio State, they're so cool. They come out and it looks like there's a walking person on the field. They're so talented and impressive. Who talks about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers marching band?
LTB, come for the punter and marching band talk.
The Buccaneers have a freaking cannon. They don't need a marching band. Kyle says next LTB outing is a field goal competition.
Yeah. Ooh.
You know, we might just have to throw
We might
us
have to do that.
out there and just show how, you know, sometimes it can be an unpredictable position and not every kick goes through the. I don't even know what I'm saying here anymore. Samuel Castro says, hey, give kickers and punters some slack. They're people too. Thank you, Samuel, for chiming in over here. The Falcons probably have a good marching band. I love it, Frankie. Thank you very much for that. That does Wisconsin Badgers. Great marching band. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why Let's Talk Broncos is now Let's Talk marching bands and
You guys made
extracurricular
me. You
entertainment.
guys made me.
No
We
one-
drove
You
him to
guys
it.
made me. You guys made me. You made me defend the take. I will always defend the take.
No, it's true. He'll fight you. You'll be like, you
Yeah.
know what? The sun looks a little bit orangey hue today. And he'll be like, it's mostly blue. And then we're just duking it out in the
Sorry.
that's okay.
Phone, Twitter.
It's still on Twitter.
It's still going, Joey. Still making
That
noise.
I think that'll be the end of the show.
Are we good?
No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead. It's that time of the evening. Let's get to Joey's question of the day.
Okay, let me pause that. Twitter
Sponsored
Spaces.
by
Oh, I don't have it. Sorry, I was off.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys 5 players here. This one's a little tough.
Oh, okay.
5 players. I want you guys to, they're all Broncos or former Broncos, and I want you guys to name the college. No winners or losers here. Just like, what's the college of these players, right? We're going to start off with Derek Wolfe.
I have it.
Hold on, give me a second.
Okay. This one's a little tough.
I feel
I-
like he's from the South. Maryland.
Okay, what's yours?
It is the South. It's like technically a northern state, but get out of here. You're Kentucky, University of Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
Tim
Tim
You're
Patrick.
not Ohio. You're Kentucky.
Tim Patrick. Just first one to get it, just yell it.
Utah.
Utah. Elvis Dumerville.
Texas.
Oh, not okay. That's not a bad guess because that's like actually.
I
Like
was
a lot of
about to
NFL
say
players come from there.
Troy, but I think that's DeMarcus Ware. It's
Tennessee.
UTSA.
It's Louisville.
Well, it was Louisville. Yeah.
Brandon
Yeah.
Marshall, the wide receiver,
Oh yeah, UCF,
and then last one, Chris Harris Jr.
Kansas.
Okay, damn.
I had to click out of the chat. Sorry, y'all. I think it was just going crazy. It looks like a bunch of people were guessing correctly. Cincy, way to go, Kyle. Ooh, Frankie and Kyle are battling it out. Very
Kyle
good.
got Louisville, the one I missed.
Very fantastic.
Yeah, I went too fast. I got to go slow so they can type in their answers.
I wonder if you
Hmm.
guys ask me every Broncos. I bet you I could do every single college.
Of the current Denver Broncos roster,
I think I could.
Josh Johnson.
Okay, you got me.
That was so funny.
no. San Diego State.
Yeah, he's right.
San Diego State. Wapa. Yeah.
All right, you ready? We're gonna go until you miss one, and then the show ends. Joey,
All right.
Okay.
you ready?
This would be a
Let's go.
long episode.
Calvin Anderson,
Texas.
Essang Bassi,
It's black and gold. Black
Yeah.
and gold.
5,
It's not Purdue.
4,
It's not Purdue. It's
3. They play
Wake
Clemson.
Forest.
Yeah. Andrew Beck.
Ooh, that one I don't know. I really don't know that one.
I'm going alphabetical too, so I don't want to hear shit from you two.
I don't know Andrew
Come
Beck.
on, Andrew.
I don't know Andrew Beck.
Texas.
That's crazy.
And then the
We
next
have a
one,
lot of
if we were to
Texas
go,
guys on our team.
if we were to
That's why I
go
guessed it.
alphabetical,
It's got to be.
yeah.
Jacob Bobenmeyer. That's a really tough one.
Is it Bobenmeyer or Bobenmeyer?
Bobenmeyer. I need to.
Joey
look up a
missed it, so
pronunciation
we're
of it.
gonna end the show on that.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. It was a fantastic evening. Go enjoy some Monday Night Football. That's what we're headed to do next. Happy birthday, Joey.
Jared Ross, Fan Cave, Mondays, 1 to 2.
Yeah,
3.
let's do it.
Listen to it. It's so good. It's great radio. Listen to it. Go over there. You're at work. Your boss won't know. Put your earbud in your ear. No one's gonna know it. Just listen to the fan cave. She's great. I'm on there a lot.
All
Joey's
right.
on there a lot.
I've been on there once. Anyways.
Follow me on Twitter, BruMaces303. You can find Joey Richards over at JR Drafts. You got
Let's go.
some writing being released here shortly.
I am. I think this is the week I'm gonna write.
That's fantastic. I love it. No more of a fuel to the fire than a Broncos country win. You can find Zach_Seegers over on Twitter. What you got coming out?
Yeah, just weekly articles every single day, or daily articles every single day, not weekly articles every single day. Tons of stuff over there. Zach_Seegers too. Please be checking out my game recap series. They will come up every Monday, midday, or the morning or so. It depends on what's going out there. A kid just fell. I feel bad for that child. But I feel really proud of those pieces. Rather than having to like get them up and out the moment the game ends, which obviously is going to ding the analysis some, I'm able to take my time on them and like really flesh out my ideas and review some, see different angles of it, and like watch the game back some. And I don't know, I really enjoy that. So check me out over there.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always go on mileshighsports.com. I don't even think I said that right. milehighsports.com, where you can find all previous podcasts, listen to live radio, read all the tremendous work from Joey Richards and Zach Seegers, and all your favorite Mile High Sports contributors, the Cody Rourke, the Drew Kreisman. You've got Anila Puro on the afternoon drive with Cody Rourke from 4 to 6 p.m. I'm just going to name every single Broncos show because that's what we do here. So excited to be with you all, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Let's go Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's Ride is back.
It's back. I feel good.